Welcome to the Natural Parents Podcast, where we will cover all things faith, health, family, and wealth through a biblical perspective of putting things in life that matter most back into order. We're reminded in Matthew 6:33, where Jesus said, "But seek first the kingdom of God and all of his righteousness, and all of these things will be added unto you." Join us each week as we focus on what truly matters most in this life and passing those values on to the next generation. This is the Natural Parents Podcast with Ryan and Abby Hukin.
What if I told you that the most powerful voice to your husband is yours?
Hercules.
So basically, a wife can either be giving oxygen or poison
Oh, this is true.
to her husband.
Yeah. And I don't know if there's a truer statement that could ever actually be said. I think, okay, so I joke, Hercules. Y'all have heard me reference this all the time. There's a really great pastor, Joby Martin, and he talks about this. He has a few different times where he mentions that, and it's jokingly, it's lighthearted, but it's just like, if you just kind of cheer your man on every once in a while, he'll feel so good about himself, and it's so true. And I think at the heart of this conversation is that way deep down inside of every seemingly secure man is an insecure little boy that's just concerned whether or not he has what it takes. And that's a loaded question for everybody. But if God has aligned you with that seemingly secure man, but actually insecure little boy, then you can be an agent of grace in his life beyond your even imagination, because words are obviously so powerful. We reference that all the time. You love it. Both life and death are in the power of the tongue. But ladies, wives, you guys have no idea the power you hold to just, love your husband through your words.
And I had no idea that it was that important till, a while ago, but
yeah, in recent history.
yes,
right?
yeah, and just how much that mattered for me to say Hercules, or that, because it's like, well, I think you're great, and I feel like you should know that I think you're great.
Sure.
But you don't always
Yeah.
know that, and so just giving you that and telling you that you're doing great, or I'm really proud of you, and all of those things is so important.
And I don't think it's just love languages.
No.
Like, I know everyone, if you guys aren't familiar, that's something we've talked about a lot, but the 5 love languages,
Yeah.
one of them is words of affirmation. And so I don't think it's just Abby's referencing to me. I know it's fairly high on my hierarchy of love languages, but it's not my number one. It's just that I don't really care about any of y'all's opinion of me, but hers, I am so deeply concerned of whether or not she thinks I've got my life put together or not.
That is it's like, oh,
I know.
but it's like, I feel the same, I
Sure.
want you to think that I'm great too.
Right.
And I heard it once said that, like, a man can be leading, a huge group of people, and they can all be
Applauding.
yes, but he
Mhm.
looks to his wife and has to see her face have approval on it to
Right.
actually feel like, okay, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know why that is. Maybe we'll have to interview a child psychologist sometime or something like that, but where that's rooted. But I know I'm not alone in this. And so I'm sure there's guys listening that would say, yeah, that's true. Like, I don't care what anybody thinks of me, except for, like, you and I have had that conversation before where it's like, oh, if I just even perceive, which this isn't healthy, but like, if I perceive you thinking that I'm somehow not worthy or all these, bad words or whatever, then I'm in a bad mood and I'm being mean back
I
to
may
you.
just ask you a question, and
Yeah.
I can see your whole mood change. I'm like, I'm not after you.
Oh, thought you were.
I never said that
Right.
you're, this and that. And so,
That's what I'm saying. It's rooted in insecurity.
but I think it's because, yeah, all men, everybody, but men significantly deal with imposter syndrome.
Right.
And so a wife's affirmations can silence that.
The whole premise and the concept of the natural parents, we talk about this all the time, is that we feel as though Satan's primary attack in this world is on the strong family unit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think one of the most primary attacks to the man who should be at the helm of that strong family unit is right here in between his ears, right? And it comes by way of imposter syndrome a lot, especially in my life, but it's also something that's wild that I've seen this little bit of a rabbit hole here, but it's like in causing men to question their salvation, right? Anything, any foothold, anything he could do to say, you're unworthy, you're no good, who cares what you've accomplished, right? Like, I know some of the most accomplished men, business, pastors that, lead very large church bodies and, all this
Mhm.
stuff that's like, they're sitting there and every day they have to combat that doubt in their mind. And the only reason I can assume that it's there is from a spiritual nature.
If you are joining us for the first time since the expo, we are so glad that you are here. It was an amazing weekend. We got so much amazing feedback. Some were asking us to do it twice a year, some were asking when the next one was. It was just all around amazing. Now, if you were there and you missed a speaker that you wanted to hear, or you just want to hear the replay, just go down in our description and you can click the link for our off of social media community group where the replays will be. Yeah.
Right. I mean, now again, footholds and strongholds are strong and all this kind of stuff, but it's like, I just believe it to be a probably answering my own question from earlier. It's like this spiritual warfare aspect of it.
Yeah, and I mean, what a wife believes about her husband, he believes himself. And so, this just popped in my head of how, like, yikes it might be because do you believe in your husband, like, truly deep down,
Mm,
where nobody, do you actually?
sure.
And so are you getting the result of what you truly believe about your husband, right?
Mm,
Like if you're like, gosh, he's just lazy, he doesn't even take out the trash, whatever, and you're subconsciously thinking that, like, does he feel that? Does
sure.
he know that? Whereas if you're like doing toe touches and you're like, Hercules, Hercules, you take
Right.
such good care of us
Right.
and you do all this stuff for us. Is he like, yeah, I do. And I'm gonna take out the trash today.
But like what that's got to be hard. What if the other actually is kind of true?
Well, I mean, it
And then in the
is.
here and the now,
Yeah.
like he's not stepping up to his full calling and
Mm-hmm.
potential. I know that's a big point of contention for a lot of couples out there is like, you know, she or he is not currently acting this way. Okay. Well, maybe it's our job then to love the future version of them that we can see in them. How do we bring that to them? Like
Mm-hmm.
the last podcast episode we did, I talked specifically about my ability to see in other people what I don't even think they ever see in themselves.
Yeah.
Like it breaks my heart when I see somebody living a current level of existence that I know they have just kind of like slow slipped into, or they've negative self-talked themselves into. And I do think it's an important piece that we all have to work on that. Like if I were in that state, I've got to, do a little bit of work on my own mental health and all that stuff. But like having someone in your life that I know God put there for that purpose, or at least in part of that purpose, to like speak to who you could become. Right. And so I don't know, super delicate balance. I'm not saying I've got answers here, but I
Yeah.
definitely got
Well,
questions.
I feel like any little thing that he does do.
Hercules,
Yes,
Hercules.
toe
Yeah.
touches, like.
Oh, our kids laugh. I don't love Moana that much. Like, I kind of like that movie, but I like that song that is,
Yes.
what
What
can
can
I say
I
except
accept.
you're welcome?
Yes.
And it's like, I'll do that. Two or three dishes in the sink. And I'm
Yes.
joking. I do
Yes.
mean that. But, in that sense, it's kind of like flip the script. Like, oh, thank you. Thank you for doing that. Right. And if
Mhm.
you champion the thing, what you give attention to is going to grow. Right.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you get attention to the lack or the laziness or the not what that person's capable of, well, then they're almost resentful going to just by human nature,
Yeah.
right? I don't think out of spite, but just human nature is going to be like, well, I'll show you, kind of a thing. Like, think I'm lazy? I'll just watch football all day, or whatever. Like, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, there's an aspect of that. But
Yeah.
if you said, champion the one little thing, it's like, oh, that got her attention, right? Like,
So that's why you leave your socks
yeah,
still
no, the
everywhere.
socks is magic. Your socks go on the ground and they just fold up themselves clean in your sock drawer. I have no
Mhm.
idea how it
Mhm.
happens. I left them
Mhm.
in front of the hamper.
Yeah. Yeah.
You should
No,
try it sometime.
I will. I think I will. I'll just see how that goes. I really do. I think that if you just try to celebrate the one or two things, maybe to start with, just pick something that, your spouse does do that is right or helpful or, something worth celebrating, even if it's not to benefit you or the whole family. Maybe it's that, he's taking good care of himself or, whatever that may be. I think whenever you start to do that, I feel like it's just this chain of positive reactions and
There's a book, or I guess a book series, because it's from both perspectives, like the power of the praying wife, the power of the
Yeah.
praying husband, right? And that just popped into my head when you were saying that, because sometimes the power of prayer is not the result effect of like what we're praying for. Again, Jesus is still on the throne. Anything is possible. He can do anything through any method of means that he sees fit. But I sometimes think that prayer changes our hearts and our minds to bring us into alignment with what we could do better in this situation, right? So
Mhm.
if I were praying, let's say, right, there's that country song that's like, I'll pray for you, where it's like all
Oh,
negative things,
yeah.
like pray for something, not like that. Okay, not like that. But if you begin to pray for your husband or your spouse or your wife, whichever side of that coin you're on, for the things that you want to see them in, but like, Lord, how can I do this? How can I champion that? How can I bring that to light in a grace filled way? Right?
Yeah.
God's gonna reveal. Sometimes the power of prayer is in waiting, hearing, listening. You talk about feeling. Actually,
Mhm.
I don't know what feelings are, but Abby has feelings. She gets feelings when she prays. I feel like I get visual revelation, right? Like things I can close my eyes, and if I sit quietly and just think through my prayer, that's a big important part of this, is like being quiet in that moment of the prayer for God to reveal it to you, right?
Mhm.
It'll come. And so
Yes.
then it's just our action, or our responsibility to act on it.
Right, right. And just praying to be able to see the good and to see all of that and what they may need to be encouraged and to just do that. So just making sure that we are speaking life into them and not poison.
Thanks.
What
What
am
am
I?
I, boys?
Poison? I knew you wanted to say it too. Um,
It's an inside joke. We'll reveal
yeah.
it to you. Tell them the inside joke.
Just my nephew would
Yeah.
say that. What am I, poison? Anytime like I think when he got in trouble or didn't get what he wanted, what am I, poison? He'd say.
So see,
Yeah.
insecure little boy,
Yeah.
right?
Just
We all grow up. We become men children, man childs. I don't know how you would
I
say
don't
that.
either.
Um, and then God gives you a spouse. Now what? Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I just, even the smallest thing, just speaking life into our grown man child is going to go far. And so I'd love to know, what is your husband's, Hercules, what is he always wanting you to celebrate? Is it when he helps you out? Is it just stuff that he does on the day to day? Let us know in the comments. From the bottom of our hearts, we want to say thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with someone you know and leave a review. By doing so, we're able to grow this community of amazing people just like you and raise a generation of children that know God and do His will on earth. We'll see you next time.
This is the Natural Parents Podcast with Ryan and Abby Hukin.